Hey John, I got a new video idea. Do you know they made a Pac-Man cartoon?
Seen it!
Some things are just frozen in a particular time period. Like, if you saw them in a movie, it would automatically be a period piece. You've got Pogs, mullets, the Bee Gees as a concept. If you were to make a period piece about the 2000s, you'd probably want to include the DVD board game. Nothing quite captures the Capri Sun-stained essence of the 2000s quite like it, and there was one franchise ruling over the Walmart party game aisle with an iron fist.
It's Scene It, the DVD movie game with over 1,000 questions, tons of movie clips, 2 dice, and one guy they call the DVD Master.
Scene It was the Guitar Hero of its genre, and much like Guitar Hero, there were a myriad of different editions and licensed installments during its relatively short run. There truly was a Scene It game for everyone, up until its abrupt discontinuation in 2012. But what is a Scene It game really? Sure, you need a shiny new DVD player, but what's this board about? What are these cards? Is this just Trivial Pursuit with extra steps? As someone who never got to experience this rite of passage as a child, my mission for the next hour is to make sure you're not also being deprived of one of life's purest joys. Today, we're going to look at the various installments of Scene It, the franchise's history, and where everyone involved is now. Grab your remotes and hit play, because this is Scene It, a relic of the 2000s. The idea of Scene It originated in 1992 when Dave Long, an employee for a real estate firm, and his wife made a game for their Halloween party using a VHS tape. Basically, he spliced clips of 20 horror movies together and had the guests try to guess the names of the films. It was such a hit, he conceptualized a whole board game around it called Reel to Reel. It's pretty similar to Scene It, with a few differences like the ending segment Final Cut having 4 layers instead of 3, and a few trivia categories being removed or reworked. Interestingly, Reel to Reel has a narrative? The setup is that each player is the producer of a movie, and if they reach the end of the game, their movie will premiere before everyone else's, and they'll be declared the champion movie mogul. And I assume be rewarded with like a golden swimming pool or whatever Hollywood types spend their money on. Unfortunately, the clips in their corresponding trivia cards would always be in the same order every game due to the limitations of VHS. Constantly pausing and unpausing the tape so that some grody live action frame can stare at you from across the room also doesn't seem ideal, so Reel to Reel was ultimately scrapped. Until 2000, when the Long family purchased their first DVD player. This new technology allowed Long to overcome the hurdles of the VHS format. Dave partnered up with Craig Kinzer, finding investors and founding the company Screen Life, releasing the first ever Scene It game in 2002. By the way, shoutouts to the Strong National Museum of Play in New York, because Dave Long donated a variety of materials relating to the development of Reel to Reel and Scene It to said museum. This collection is known as the Dave Long Papers, and through the power of sending emails back and forth, I've been able to look at them for research purposes. Thank you very much, Nicole. There are licensing fees involved with showing any of this material in the video, so I'll only be showing you a little bit, but having this info on hand really did help to fill out a few details regarding Reel to Reel and the early days of Scene It, so I definitely recommend visiting the Strong to take a look at these if you can.
Hey, 11th hour heads up. I was provided access to the Dave Long Papers for a period of 2 weeks, and when I reached back out to the Strong, they informed me that the papers had recently changed to restricted access, so I'm not going to be able to show you any of them, but I swear to God I'm not lying. If you go to the Strong and they let you into the chamber where the Dave Long Papers are kept, you will know the truth.
But how does Scene It even work? Let's crack open this box. Got some instructions, got the board. This is the innovative Flex Time game board. Basically, if you want to play a nice, short round of Scene It, you can keep it in this little circle. But if you're a real gamer, you're gonna unfold it into 3 circles. A lot of these are really cleanly designed so that the board feels complete no matter what orientation you're in, but on some of them, they didn't try. Most Scene Its come with 4 game pieces themed after the specific edition that you're playing. Nothing about the way the game is structured prevents more players from joining though, so if you have no regard for the rules and conduct of civil society, you can bring in more friends and have them use their favorite action figure or whatever. Some of these are weird, though. For example, the Disney version just gives you Disney characters. Makes sense, right? But then, if you play Friends Scene It, you're stuck with, like, this cappuccino or whatever. I wonder if this was an actor likeness kind of issue. Anyways, we have not one, but 2 dice. A traditional 6-sided die for movement, and an 8-sided die with unique symbols that dictate which action you perform on your turn. That's where the cards come in. Some of these actions are DVD-based, and we'll get there, but for a majority of the game, you're actually going to be using cards. The first type of card is the trivia card. There are 3 different types of questions on each card, all corresponding to one of the symbols on the die. Pretty basic: question on front, answer on back. These categories are Take 3, songs and slogans, and pop culture. Much to my annoyance, the game seems to give out a lot more slogans than it does songs. These categories are usually pretty consistent, but some versions of the game will switch them up. For example, Music Scene It modifies songs and slogans to songs and lyrics, while Disney Channel Scene It changes the categories altogether to reflect the network's original shows and movies. Then we have the buzz cards. Think of these like your chance or community chest cards in Monopoly. These all have little stories on them, which correspond to an action. For example, moving forward or backwards, losing a turn, etc. Your turn will always end after picking up a buzz card. The name of the buzz cards can change depending on which version of Scene It you play. For example, in Nickelodeon Scene It, they're called slime cards. In Disney Magical Moments Scene It, they got Buzz Lightyear on the buzz cards. Do you get it? No Buzz on Maggie in the Disney Channel edition, though. The Simpsons version's got Buzz Cola cards. That's pretty cool. In the original reel-to-reel prototype, they were instead called gossip cards because of the whole plot of the game. Nothing like playing funny movie game, then losing a turn because you had an affair with the producer's spouse in front of mom and dad. Classy stuff. Wait, aren't the players in this game the producers? Sleeping with your own spouse isn't an affair, Dave. It's not how that works. But enough about all these cards and dice and junk. This is Scene It, the DVD movie game. Let's pop this sucker in and see how it works. Aw, sweet mother of Jesus, where's the remote? You know, setting this up in 2023 was hard work. Assuming you can find your decaying old DVD player and it's probably far away remote, you've still got to take out the exploded batteries and clean the dumb thing out.
What happened? Why is it not showing anything?
And don't even get me started if your DVD player doesn't have HDMI out.
Is this what you want?
You could just try playing it in VLC, but that doesn't quite work right. It's trying. Oh. Oh, dude, now there's 2 VLCs. Let's go. Man, I think I'm just gonna use the PS3. I suppose you could also pop Scene It into a console of your choosing, but unless you're using an equally ancient PS2 or something, you've got to do remote inputs on a controller, and that's just sick. The disc tray on the DVD player we were using absolutely refused to open for a while, and my esteemed co-writer made an exasperated sprint for it when it finally did. It was a magical moment. Oh, would you look at that? The disc even has OpDrive technology. Basically, this means that the disc will reshuffle the questions every time you start it up so that you can have a unique Scene It experience every time. No more awkwardly rearranging the cards to match some stupid VHS order. Some DVD players are too archaic to do this reliably, so the disc provides some preset combinations to keep things fresh. John! I'm struggling. You spent 2.5 minutes explaining the funny 2000s game, and yet I am still woefully unprepared. Fret not, young gamer. Each Scene It DVD has a helpful how-to-play option where a narrator will walk you through all the rules, holding your hand like the baby you are. There's even pretty pictures because it's a DVD. Have you not been paying attention?
Baby.
Is it just me, or was anyone else creeped out by stuff like this as a kid? There's something uncanny about a disembodied voice directly addressing you, the player, in something like a DVD. A medium that isn't usually interactive, but is in this special instance. Especially when that disembodied voice is SpongeBob SquarePants.
If someone who's not playing the game shouts out the answer, lock them out of the room immediately. Dumb baby.
Maybe I just saw too many movies about getting sucked into an evil TV to be comfortable with some mystery man directly addressing me through a DVD. This has been another episode of John's Weird Fears. Tune in next time when I talk about the Disney Fast Play logo.
This Disney DVD is enhanced with Disney's Fast Play.
Oh, right, we're playing a game. The tutorial says that one player gets to be the DVD master, selecting the options as they come up. Naturally, since this is my channel, I'll be playing the role. I'm in charge. Now it's time to play the game. You can't skip these. Anyways, I hope you're ready for this DVD menu screen to keep you company while you play a regular board game. I don't mean to be harsh, but my only significant complaint with Scene It is the frequency of the DVD questions. How much you use the DVD is literally up to the roll of a die. On one hand, it makes it a little special, right? Like, you're not hitting stuff on the remote every 2 seconds, it's sort of a unique event. But on the other, this is a DVD board game. The DVD is the only thing separating this from a regular trivia game, so it feels like they should be taking more advantage of it, you know? The first selection is all play. Here, a trivia question is presented for all players to answer. This can be presented in a variety of forms, like guessing an actor based on their voice, putting movies in release order, or just playing Wheel of Fortune for a little bit. If the player who rolled gets the question right, they get to roll again. If someone else gets it, they can either move 1 space or force someone else to pick up a buzz card. That's a little weird considering that the buzz cards have a 50-50 shot of giving a player a negative outcome, but hey, I've never made a DVD board game. What do I know? Next is my play, where only the roller is allowed to answer. These questions often start with a clip before you're asked about what you've just seen. You get it? Because these vary from basic things like asking the color of a character's shirt to stupid ones like asking the name of an actor who's not even in the clip. Depending on the iteration of Scene It, not every My Play will be preceded with a clip, but more often than not they are. Oh yeah, by the way, one of the things on the die is Player's Choice, where you can choose to either pick up a buzz card, be asked a question from one of the trivia cards, or select a question from the DVD. Why you wouldn't select the DVD option in a DVD board game is beyond me. Maybe if you're really invested in winning, like this means something to you, maybe it's more viable to pick a trivia card, but come on. Oh my god, the clock tower from Twilight landed on the all play to win space. It's endgame time. This is like a regular all play question, but with higher stakes. If the person who landed there gets it right, they immediately win the game and are rewarded with a victory cutscene. Some of these are better than others, but if someone else gets it right, they instead move on to the final cut spaces. These all have numbers on them corresponding to how many questions you're asked. You start at 3, and if you get them all correct, you win. If you don't, you move up to 2, then 1. You can probably guess what happens there. The other players continue the game as normal, so don't let your guard down. Some later iterations of Scene It add the party play mode, which is basically just a marathon of the DVD questions. This somewhat mitigates my earlier complaint about not using the DVD enough, but now we're not using the board enough. I'll never be happy. If you've ever wanted to play, like, bar trivia, but for Nickelodeon, this is a pretty viable option. The DVDs also usually contain credits, a help section if you've never operated a digital video disc in your life, and a section for you to preview other Screen Life products. On some editions, contests are also in these sections. No idea if anyone ever won any of these, but I'd love to know if they got some exclusive Scene It drip or something. Now, there is no doubt in my mind, my co-writer and I have played more Scene It this year than you have. I think it's reasonable to say that both of us have completed the trials necessary to become DVD masters, so our opinions are not to be taken lightly. And honestly, Scene It as a whole, pretty good. Yeah, I said it. This DVD board game from the mid-2000s is still fun. More fun, in fact, than some real video games that you like.
Let's go! What just happened?
Even when you're not that familiar with the source material, you can still have a good time seeing all the clips and somehow busting out a right answer by complete accident. You can even win the board game without answering a single question right. It's hard, but it's possible. I've got to be honest though, the rules for this are a little convoluted for something like this. I mean, I spent like 10 minutes telling you how this DVD board game works. I downloaded a PDF on my phone just so I could reference it during the game. Once you get it down, it's not so bad, but this is a lot of rules for a bunch of kids or a bunch of intoxicated adults. Much like the human race, Scene It comes in many different shapes and sizes. The original release of Scene It comes in this big square box, which is the same form factor used for our copy of 007 Scene It. It seems like they used these for a while before switching to a more traditional rectangular box. We'll call these long boys. This allows Screen Life to put the game tokens on display. They were proud of this metal rendering of the Star Dazzle Award from High School Musical 2. If you've got a Scene It kicking around your house, chances are it's in a long boy box. They are very common, especially for the games released during Scene It's heyday. But they weren't exclusively making long boys during the mid-2000s. If you wanted your Scene It to be nice and solid, you could also buy a variety of them in these metal boxes. There are 2 types of these in similar sizes. The first variety are these solid silver metal boxes that have embossed logos on the sides and gross holographic artwork on the front that Draw you into the world, I guess. The second variety is beautiful and pristine, featuring tastefully embossed artwork on the front. Look at how Hannah Montana pops. Not like a gross holographic kind of pop, but like a person. A two-dimensional metal person.
It's like she's there in the room with you.
Oh god. Oh god! Even the sides of the box are colorful and have similar embossing on the logo and characters. Most Scene Its are just board games. It'd look a little tacky if you displayed like Seinfeld Scene It in your room. But this cleans up nice. You could take this home to Ma. They're genuinely kind of neat collector's items. Not the holographic ones though. Those are mega tacky. Slay, Scene It Queen, slay. But you don't want a big stack of Scene Its in your house. What would you even do with all these? Never fear, Screen Life is here. They sold these expansion packs for some editions of the game where you could get a new set of trivia cards and a new DVD to enhance your old crusty Scene It with a new theme. Say you own Sports Scene It. If you were to buy the Disney expansion, you could use your existing board and game pieces while still having a new experience. Some expansion packs even came with new tokens, like the deluxe sequel pack, which comes with a soda pop. You have a little popcorn, little soda, little movie night. Finally, my theater-going experience is complete. I don't know what the hell's going on with the HBO one we got, but I'm not gonna put it on the shelf with the other Scene Its. There's also Scene It To Go, which I bought still in its clamshell packaging. Unfortunately, for research purposes, we're going to have to unbox this. Don't worry, I'll be gentle. It is your first time after all. Oh, this is cool. It rolls out into a mini Scene It board and oh wow, the pieces are magnetic so they stick. No mess. You could take this home to Ma. And they even have a little slot to hold the DVD where you would normally put the buzz cards. Say, where are the buzz cards? And the trivia cards? And the dice? I guess we could use the dice from 80 Scene It, but
Travel Edition games have trivia cards, buzz cards, and die rolls on the DVD so you can play anytime, anywhere.
oh, I see. So the to-go editions actually use unique DVDs that allow for dice rolls, trivia cards, and buzz cards to be handled by the disc, so you don't have to clutter up the SUV. They even modified the tutorial so that it uses a render of the to-go board, and the voiceover helpfully informs you of these portable-friendly features. It seems like these otherwise function basically like their full-size counterparts, with one harrowing exception. Does this look like a flex-time game board to you? I mean, it flexes, of that I'm sure, but they didn't account for the fact that some people aren't cut out for full games of Scene It. I suppose, in a pinch, you could just pretend that half of the board doesn't exist and this gaping hole between spaces is normal, but I personally expect a bit more from Screen Life Entertainment circa 2007. Oh hey, we also found this long boy of Scene It Jr. and... What? Yeah! So if you go on the ESRB's website, you'll find all of the Scene It video games, of course. We'll get to them in a bit, but you will also find Scene It Jr. DVD. Literally none of the other DVD Scene Its have a rating. It's just this one, and I don't know why that is. This is one mystery that I'd love to have a commenter solve for me. I'm baffled, and I'm tired. Some Scene Its have deluxe editions, but it seems kind of inconsistent what makes a Scene It deluxe. For example, this Disney Channel edition is a deluxe edition because it comes in a fancy metal tin, as opposed to the standard edition, which does not. So, deluxe Scene Its come in metal tins? Not exactly. Do you happen to remember the disgusting holographic tins that I hate and want to get rid of from earlier? Those are standard edition Scene Its, so maybe deluxe Scene Its are specifically the good metal tins that you'd put on a shelf, right?
That's good.
But what about this one? That's just a cardboard box for peasants. I am the DVD master. I deserve respect. You come into my house and you spit on my large and inconvenient stack of Scene Its, I bite my thumb at you, sir. But if the box is like all the other ones, then what exactly makes this Scene It deluxe? Huh? Extra pieces? An extra disc? What could possibly be on a second disc? Scene It bonus features? What would those even be?
So when we contacted David Fincher to talk about the trivia for this, we originally had it on the cards, but we decided to put in a clip from the movie, so we had to contact MGM. In order
Would you shut up? This is just actively unfair. An extra game piece is one thing, but I could be missing out on completely unique gameplay by not purchasing a deluxe edition. I don't know how to feel about this. What the hell is this? Disney Deluxe Scene It has deepened the class divide even further. A bonus DVD, 2 extra tokens, 25% more trivia cards? Those don't even cost anything to print. They exist purely to make the experience of the lower class worse. They're gonna start putting poverty poverty itself in the non-deluxe scene. I don't get it. I don't get it. Screen Life became drunk with power halfway into the Scene It run, and they need to be called out for their greed. Hey, guess what I found at Goodwill? So I'm gonna level with you. We found this when the script was basically done. I'm tired. But I made a commitment and I'm not one to go back on my word. What sets the deluxe edition of Game of the Year nominee Scene It aside from the standard edition? Well, we've got 2 extra pieces. No soda pop though. And much like the deluxe Disney Scene It, there are more trivia cards and a second DVD. I initially assumed that the second DVD might just be the sequel pack or something, but much to my horror, it is in fact a completely unique disc with 4 categories corresponding to different film genres and featuring new clips. All of them have gross color grading. I want to go to bed. I recall reading an interview with Dave Long where he expressed interest in doing genre-specific Scene It's like comedy and romance, so maybe this is what that turned into. It's really weird regardless. Were there any families out there who really liked playing the bonus disc specifically? Did Dad really enjoy the cops, spies, and private eyes category? That's not a genre, Dad! So the thing you gotta understand about Scene It is that there's a lot of it. If I attempted to holistically describe every installment of Scene It, I would dissolve. So we're just gonna go over some highlights to give you an overview of the Scene It experience and learn about some of its most interesting additions. I guess we should start with the original, right? It's cool seeing the original pressing of this game next to the later installments because it's honestly a lot different. The box is different, even the logo's different. Look at this! I'm so used to these discs being in cardboard sleeves, but Screen Life used to swing for the fences. They had a dream. They had a jewel case. They even had funny nicknames in the credits, like this was just a group of buds pursuing their passion project. It gives off a bit of personality that the later installments lack. The first Scene It had quite the road ahead of it. It took 18 months for Screen Life to license all the film clips used, with each studio receiving royalties for each copy of Scene It sold. Perhaps for this reason, the original Scene It retailed for a hefty $50 when it was first released. Actors were also asked for permission. Some asked for money, but apparently a good amount of them just wanted a copy of the game for themselves. Actress Melanie Griffith even personally suggested that they use a different clip of her film Working Girl than the one that was initially chosen. Leveraging the fact that DVD players were becoming increasingly common in American households, Scene It clawed its way into the board game aisles of retailers everywhere and seems to have sold pretty well if the existence of all these other ones is any indication. The whole aesthetic of the game and the menus really scream 2002, and I think placing yourself back in that time makes this game all the more impressive. You practically just learned what a DVD is, and now it has Optrive technology? Modern living has peaked. It's hard to find much to say about the original Scene It that can't be said about its successors, but a lot of that comes down to the fact that it's a very solidly designed game, which is easily adapted to fit other themes. It doesn't feel like an early version or a prototype in any way. They basically ironed out every kink before release, back when the game was still reel-to-reel. With that said, let's talk about some of the variants that this one spawned. The one I probably had the most fun with was Nickelodeon Scene It because I'm a baby man who drinks out of a little bottle. SpongeBob's my king. That didn't work. That didn't work. Speaking of SpongeBob, they actually got Tom Kenny to host this in character.
In honor of Invader Zim, the player whose first name is alphabetically closest to Zim wins.
He presents the tutorial and loses his entire mind if you win.
Correct! Congratulations! I am so happy for you. You deserve this. You're the winner! You're the winner!
What did the voice director tell him to do here? Was he even following orders? Could he be contained? All the SpongeBob clips are from the first 3 seasons because it came out at the weird point after the movie where they decided to start renewing SpongeBob indefinitely, but season 4 wasn't out yet, so the legacy had not yet been tarnished. Tom Kenny sure does sound like season 4 SpongeBob though. Nickelodeon Scene It came out a few years into the Scene It craze. They weren't using jewel cases anymore, but the presentation had stepped up substantially. The original Scene It looks like any DVD menu from 2002. Like some dude's about to tell you that Teacher's Pet the movie is now available on DVD and VHS. But Nick Scene It actually feels like you're inside the concept of Nickelodeon. You're not watching film reels vaguely animated with a blue filter over them. You're in the Nickelodeon slime factory. The board itself is slime green with orange Nickelodeon splats placed strategically throughout. They even renamed the double feature space to Turbo Nick after an old subsection of the Nickelodeon website. Every space also has a Nickelodeon character on it, some from long-canceled shows like Ah Real Monsters. No Doug, though. Disney took him in the divorce. No chalks on either. Each different type of DVD question leads you to a different part of the factory. It's genuinely cool. As for the pieces, oh boy, Hang's not looking so good. These are a little random. I'm unclear why SpongeBob's wearing a hat or why Cosmo and Wanda are disguised as a plant, or why All Grown Up exists. But these are a little bit more interesting than the broken clapperboard we got with the original. The questions are, of course, also themed around Nickelodeon, except when they aren't and are instead just about gross things. I guess that's on brand. I wasn't into it though. Some of these questions are also completely unreasonable. Like there's a question about when the pilot for Rugrats aired, and the answer is that it didn't. First of all, how many kids even know what a pilot is, like at a base level? Now, what percent of that percent is going to know about the esteemed history of the Rugrats pilot? It's pretty dumb. That's my point. It is included as a bonus feature on this one random home video release, so maybe they're assuming that at least one player owned Decade in Diapers. But John, I hear you cry. My money is valuable. I want to try Scene It before I buy Scene It. How broke are you? I mean, don't worry, I guess. If you want to just like buy a Baconator, they'll include but a crumb of the Scene It experience with that. If you're asking in 2008, that is. No funny Aang piece for you though, you lowly serf. All you get are Nickelodeon tokens. Don't spill your Frosty on them.
Hi, I'm Wendy's founder, David.
This version only has all play and tiebreakers to really tantalize you with a pale imitation of greatness. It's also like completely missing all the SpongeBob stuff for no discernible reason. I assume it's not a rights issue. Nickelodeon owns SpongeBob. Maybe they thought withholding the Bob would help to sell the full Scene It. Like they'd be giving up the ghost by satiating your spongy, absorbent needs. Yellow and porous and not in the demo is here. Even the little tutorial video, instead of showing you SpongeBob, shows you what you could have if you'd spent your money on board games and not food to survive. Little baby needs to eat. Little baby wants his bottle. Little baby doesn't want to die of hunger. Little idiot. Is Wendy's really the best you could do for food? Like I assume you're on. They actually made a couple tie-ins with Wendy's, like Scene It Jr. Unfortunately, they didn't offer demos of the more adult-oriented Scene It's, like the HBO one.
Leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
I want this with my biggie bag! Final little side note about this version of Scene It. Some YouTube channel posted this video of the Slime Factory at night. No one in the comments or on the Lost Media Wiki forum seems to know what version of the game this comes from. There's no real documentation on it anywhere. Oh, it's been a while since I've had to do this. This is editing, John. The Some YouTube channel is Hey Snappy, which refers to Hey Snappy Game Studios, and on their website, we can find that they say they are an art outsourcing design studio in South America, and they say that they worked with companies like Nickelodeon on games like Scene It. So, seems like our man Dave was doing a little bit of outsourcing to good old Hey Snappy. Just wanted to make sure I'm properly accrediting them, especially because we literally wouldn't have this if not for them, and it explains why we have an alternate version. Okay, bye-bye. Seems kind of spooky. Imagine sitting alone in your bedroom, perusing a Scene It disc for fun, and then discovering it has a day-night cycle. No sleep for John tonight!
Hey, it's me, Jonii. It's been a while since I've uploaded. I just wanted to let you guys know some of what I've been up to since last year. I got a different job, no more overnights. I'm in the process of moving, and creatively, I've done a few things. I released a solo album called Shame, which you can listen to on any streaming platform you want. Just search Jonii Vee, Jonii, space, Vee. I've also been doing a podcast with my friend Daro called Train of Thought with Jonii and Daro. Anywhere you can get podcasts, you can find this. We have a YouTube channel, Spotify, etc. And lastly, I've been having a lot of fun streaming on my Twitch every Friday at 8:30 p.m. CST. I'm officially off hiatus now, but I don't necessarily know how often I'll upload, so if you need an additional Jonii fix, I recommend you check any of those things out. Also, my Patreon is active again. If you subscribe at $1, you get your name on the screen like this, and while I can't guarantee the frequency of other bonuses, you do get early access to some videos and behind-the-scenes stuff every now and again. Patrons got to see this video a few days early, for example. If you subscribe at $5 a month, I'll even read your name out loud, like Bow Ties and Glasses, Ice Crash Radio, Video, and Pigpen. I recently increased the price of this tier from $3 to $5, and I sent a message out to patrons letting them know. But in the interest of fairness, I'll also read out the $3 patrons for this video in case they aren't yet aware of the switch. And because I'm also pretty grateful for Angel Thing Jenny, Archagent Everlasting, Cowboys in the Hood, Detective Kuro, Don Rouse, etc., Giant Fire Ring Cole, Inutsu, Jakey97, Mass Rivers, Mustache Duct Tape, Pack Jeff, Rams, Tailored Muffin, Tanner McGuire, and my friends Devnull, AJ, Marketable Train Mascot Daro, and Bam Bam Dabuha. Thanks to my patrons and subscribers for being so patient and supportive while I spent the last year getting my life together. Now back to my descent into madness.
Now, Nickelodeon Scene It is a product of the golden era. They were pumping these things out left and right, and they were making money. This thing had its own TV commercial.
Kids, time for dinner.
But 2006 couldn't last forever, and unfortunately, Scene It was not immune to the recession. Thanks, Obama. 80s Scene It, released in 2009, already had a few symptoms of decay. The game itself is great, and the DVD is weirdly high effort, with original pixel art animations and a true dedication to the 80s aesthetic. But when you bust open the box, a subtle disappointment looms over you. It looks like the Scene It you remember, but it feels wrong. Upon comparing it to the earlier 007 Scene It, you can see some major shrinkflation going on with the dice. Also, the pieces are a plain plastic when previously they've either been metal or painted plastic. By the time we get to Twilight Saga Scene It, the disease running through the franchise's bones has spread to every aspect of the game. They've gone back to the square box of the first few Scene Its, which is noticeably smaller. Hey, they also embossed the dice? Weird. Maybe the box is only smaller so it could fit conveniently on the shelf at official Kohl's locations, seeing as it is inexplicably a Kohl's exclusive game. Look at these pieces also. Like 80s Scene It, they're unpainted plastic, but unlike 80s Scene It, they're gross. I feel gross holding them. Yuck. There's also a lot of weird arbitrary changes, like the buzz cards. I'm sorry, the fate cards are now rectangular like the trivia cards, and both of them have horizontal text. Why are they doing this? Why are they destroying everything I love? They also changed the name of Final Cut to Lightning Round, which feels wrong to say out loud. Even the FlexTime game board fails to make it out unscathed. In most iterations, the board is designed to look somewhat presentable whether you're playing a short or a long game. Not so for Twilight Saga Scene It. If you dare to play a short and reasonable game, you'll be staring this monstrosity in the face. I'm disgusted, frankly. Maybe this is okay, you think. Maybe once I pop in that digital video disc, I will be whisked away to the Scene It of my youth. The Optrive technology can paper over any flaw, no matter how big. You tell yourself these lies, these false promises, in the vain hope that greatness can last forever. You shed a single tear as you hear a very bored man explain the rules you know so well.
Welcome to Scene It, Twilight Saga. To win the game, make your way around the game board, and be the first player to complete the Twilightning round. Let's begin by setting up the game board.
I should clarify, as someone who has never seen Twilight, that this very bored man is in fact Edward Cullen's adoptive daddy. I am perhaps not the target demographic for this particular Scene It game. The copy that we have says it retailed for $30, and I'd just like you to keep that in mind as you watch the tutorial.
Place the fate cards on the board. Choose your tokens. Place them at the start location on the board, and you're ready to play. Start the game by rolling the numbered die to determine who goes first.
They don't even have a video for this. Even SpongeBob had the courtesy to show you around. Come on, Carlisle! Where are your manners? Even the main game seems ravaged by the shackles of age. You know the Slime Factory and Nick's Scene It? You don't actually go to a new place in this one. It just gives you new menu options. How cool. What's this? My puzzle? This is new. Here they ask you to do things like pick which character said a particular line of dialogue, or select a character from a flipped deck of cards who fulfills a certain description. These aren't the worst. Admittedly, I'm very bad at them because I'm not familiar with Twilight, but they come across as kind of unnecessary. Like they're losing confidence in the Scene It format. Speaking of losing confidence in the Scene It format, do you guys want to play a bonus activity? Yeah, there are 4 of these things, and good old Carlisle's gonna guide you on through them.
Welcome to the Twilight Saga Act It bonus game.
First up is Act It. This is charades. This is just charades. Next, we have Say It. This is effectively a $1 million pyramid type game. One person is the performer and gets shown a character, object, or location from the Twilight movies and has to get the other players to guess what it is without saying the word or phrase itself. If a player guesses the term within the allotted time, they get a point. Much like charades, the other players actually have to look away from the TV screen so that there can be an intimate exchange of information betwixt the Scene It game disc and the performer. Next is Sketch It. This one's like Pictionary. Instead of describing the term, you sketch it. Like the name, scripting is easy. Finally, we have Bark or Bite. This is just a BuzzFeed quiz. My co-writer Ethan is a vampire, apparently. You wanna make a vampire noise? Okay. Why are these included on the disc? Why are you asking me? Go ask one of these people. Weirdly enough, on ScreenLife's old website, there's this Twilight Saga party guide. I couldn't find anything like this for any of the other Scene Its. It's just this one. Gives you a little checklist of things to do, party invites you can print out, and even recipes.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sip It, everyone's favorite internet cocktail show. John, put up the logo.
We don't have a logo.
Put up the logo, John. Put up the logo! Today we're going to be making a cocktail based on the hit film series Twilight. We're going to make Bella's Bellini. We're going to be building this right into glass, starting with 2 ounces of peach nectar.
Perfect.
Looks good. Then it calls for 6 ounces of sparkling grape juice. We're just gonna top this off here. It then says to garnish with some raspberries, even though they clearly didn't do that in the picture. I'm gonna be doing it here for you today, so you can see what that looks like. And there we have it. We've got ourselves a Bella's Bellini. I mean, yeah, that's just it's just a virgin Bellini. It's kind of fruity. There's not much to it. There's no alcohol in it. I mean, you could add alcohol. Ethan. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Join us next time where we'll be making the fondue recipe where it just tells you to take chocolate chips and milk and just heat it up. They didn't... See you next time.
We thought that Twilight Saga Scene It existed in a vacuum until I purchased the unsuspecting Disney Magical Moments Scene It from a Goodwill. Also a Kohl's exclusive, and also containing the weird new bonus modes. So if you want to act, say, or sketch any comedy movie or Harry Potter related shenanigans, I'd say go for it. Glee Scene It, which seems to be the final game in the Scene It lineage, swaps Sketch It for Sing It, cause, you know, Glee.
Really came together this week as a team.
Yeah, a gay team. A big gay team of dancing gays.
I would show this to you, but Glee Scene It is a little uncommon, and contrary to popular belief, I'm not made out of money. We call these Kohl's exclusives because all the ones we own have the little Kohl's logo in the upper left-hand corner, but a few of them lack this and were probably sold elsewhere. You could just as easily refer to these as being from the green box period. With the success of the Scene It brand, ScreenLife was able to further branch into the burgeoning DVD board game market with things like DVD Bingo and DVD Blast, also taking advantage of popular licenses like Crayola and Family Guy. But you know what they say, they can't all be winners. I had to buy this sealed.
This is Quip It. Say hello, Quip It.
Hello. The object of the game is to write funny little quips based on the stock images and movie clips presented to you. One player has to guess who wrote what, and if they guess correctly, they get to move forward. It's sort of like a combination of Quiplash, Cards Against Humanity, and, of course, Scene It. It's not very good. Look at the box! Look at this Wojak of a man gesturing to the logo, I guess. Do you think the man in this image has ever seen Quip It on a shelf and recreated the pose, pointing to a photograph of himself? This is the type of stuff that keeps me up at night. So the rules sound pretty simple based off my description of them, right?
They're not.
We're getting ahead of ourselves, though. First, let's open up the wait a minute. This isn't a flex time game board. What if I want to play a short game of Quip It? What then? Anyways, Quip It is equipped with the usual game pieces, but it also comes with a dry erase board and marker, pieces of paper called Quip slips, and these lovely Quip It branded pencils. Rest assured, we have not used them once. They are in mint condition. How else do you think I'm going to profit from this video? Unfortunately, the sharpener lacks Quip It branding. They just got this from the Dollar Tree. Also included, of course, is the very helpful rule sheet. Unlike Scene It, there's no on-disc tutorial or even voiceover of any kind, so we're gonna need this. Let's see if we can figure it out. So we all start in the Quip Start area, of which there are 2, and there's these weird slide spaces. Why didn't they just use the Scene It board? I joked about it earlier, but those boards are a lot more functional and easy to understand. To once again return to my hypothetical, can you imagine your friends trying to understand this when they're like 4 beers deep? It's just not gonna happen. Anyways, let's set this aside for now. So, like I mentioned, one player is the guesser. Their job is to guess who quipped what. For each quip they guess correctly, they get to move ahead 1 space and eventually slide, whatever. The player to the left of the guesser becomes the squealer. Not, interestingly enough, the DVD master, even though they possess control of the remote. The squealer's main job is to read each quip aloud without giving away who wrote what. Now, small point of confusion. The rules actually don't specify whether or not the squealer is supposed to write quips. After playing the game a couple times, I assume they are, because it would suck if they're not. Like, if you're playing this with 4 people and only 2 of them are actively participating, your party's gonna die fast. After the squealer rattles off your hilarious quips, they hit the timer button on the menu so that the guesser has 60 seconds to assign quips to quippers. This is where the dry erase board comes in. The guesser can write notes for each response under the description column to help remember them all. Oh, silly me! As the rules helpfully point out, a description is a description of the quip. Get it? Yes, I get it. Getting it was never the problem. Now, here's where things get interesting. Maybe it's just because I've played so much Cards Against Humanity, but I was under the impression that the guesser, and by extension, the squealer, was a role that would alternate between players every round. But upon taking a closer look at the rules, they once again don't specify. That's 2 points of clarification that the instructions are sorely lacking. They are, unfortunately, not lacking in attempts at humor. The guesser always moves first, and moving turns always move clockwise from the guesser. For those of you who can't tell time, that's to the left. It's a circle! The entire point of using the terms clockwise and counterclockwise is that there is no right or left. Why would you even make the board a circle if you don't understand that? What the fuck? The ultimate goal of Quip It is for one player to land on the quip stop space and attempt the final challenge. If they win the final challenge, they win the game, but if they lose, then all of you have to pay the ultimate price of continuing to play Quip It. The final challenge is literally just a normal round of Quip It with a few caveats. The player on the quip stop space becomes the guesser, and the squealer only reads 1 quip out loud for the guesser to assign to a quipper. This is arguably easier than a regular round. Like, sure, you're not getting the full context of what every player wrote, but you also only need to guess 1 quip. The stakes do not feel appropriately high. Anyways, if you win the final challenge, you win the game. There is no celebration, there is no fanfare, there is only you, a Getty image, and the smooth sounds of the Fat Man and Team Fat. I'm not kidding, that's the name of the team who did the music for most of the Scene It games. They also did the music for Putt Putt Saves the Zoo.
I have a little tattoo of a rose on my back fender.
Honestly, it's pretty good, and I would argue adds to the Scene It experience. It is certainly a bright spot in the otherwise desolate wasteland that is Quip It. There's also an alternate rule set where there's no guesser and the squealer changes every round. The goal here is to write the funniest quip and have everyone except the squealer vote for their favorite. Players cannot vote for their own quip. This is alright, I guess. At least it keeps the game moving, which is all you can really hope for. Now, the back of the box says that Quip It requires 3 or more players. So if the squealer can write quips, that means the guesser is basically just guessing who wrote what between 2 people, essentially making it a 50-50 shot. So really, you should have at least 4. Although, assuming that the squealer can't write quips, that again leaves us with only 2 active participants. So really, you should have at least 5 people. This is where more clearly worded instructions would be helpful, don't you think? Also, if you have 4 friends, maybe you should just play Scene It instead. You'll have a better time. Not even the DVD DVD component of Quip It can save it. Like I said, there's no extra voiceover, making it feel cheaper than your average Scene It. And most of the prompts are like stock Getty images. Sometimes you'll get a random film or TV clip, which feels more like a remnant of Scene It than a part of the game that organically makes sense. When you compare it to Quiplash, which mostly uses text prompts, it feels very lacking. An image is worth 1,000 words, and you, regrettably, do not have time to write a 1,000-word description of any of these strange choices. It feels much harder to add something to a funny image than a funny prompt or a more standard stock image. You're basically writing a joke about an existing joke, so it makes the game less riffing with your buds and more desperately trying to come up with something mildly amusing for the comic strip caption contest. This one's not going on the shelf with the Scene It. This one's going on the floor. But John, I don't want to set up a board. I don't got no tables in my house. We're poor. You think we can afford a table? I spent all my money on the biggie bag. Stop taking out your weirdly specific problems on me and purchase one of the several Scene It video games for your home console of choice. I didn't get the PS3 one because have you seen how many things we've already bought for this video? Be thankful I bought any of these. First up is Scene It Lights Camera Action for the Xbox 360. It was co-developed by Screenlife and a company called The Whole Experience. This one comes with these unique controllers called the Big Button Pads. I own 6 of them that I couldn't get to work. One has exploded batteries inside. I assumed the other ones were all just broken, but apparently for some reason these require their own USB IR sensor. Chalk up $10 on the budget! I'm in debt! The classic mode is structured into a series of 3 rounds with Final Cut at the end. You can choose either a short or long game, changing the number of puzzles per round, which is a functional but sad attempt to emulate the FlexTime game board. Most of the puzzles are adapted from the board game. You watch clips and answer questions, you try to guess a movie from a distorted image of it. Even some of the card questions, like songs and slogans, show up as all-play questions. Even a lot of the clips are taken directly from the original Scene It. There's also some new types of puzzles, like Child's Play, where you have to wipe away some crust in order to see a crudely drawn image that represents a movie. These are fun. Having this amount of variety helps to shake up a game that could otherwise be boring due to lacking the board game component. And hey, Party Play's even here. Between questions, people can join and leave as they please, much like the later Guitar Hero and Rock Band games. I don't know if your grandma or drunk friends or your friend's drunk grandma are as capable of holding an Xbox controller as they are just shouting out answers from the couch, but it's the thought that counts. At the end of each question, you can compare your rank against the other players in case you want to flex. I'm not a huge fan of the presentation here, to be honest. The concept is cool. A character called the Producer narrates the game and takes you around this studio, with the game being framed as a talent search, kind of like reel-to-reel, but I don't know, something about these PS2 level character models dotting the landscape isn't my favorite. You don't even get to play as any of them, you just play as your Xbox profile picture. Kind of feels like I'm just watching a pre-rendered video in the background the whole time. Where's the pizzazz? The artistry? Well, less than a year later, another 360 exclusive, Scene It Box Office Smash, would be released, featuring all the artistic vision the first game lacked. And by that I mean it's basically the same game with new clips, online multiplayer, and much more tasteful presentation. Gone are the crusty PS2 models in the Hollywood studio. You aren't an aspiring film producer. You are the everyman, playing a game of Scene It on the couch with your buds, just like in real life. Instead of being represented by a still profile picture this time, each player gets to play as an Xbox 360 avatar, and they add a lot of personality with expressive little animations between rounds, and even their little heads reacting to your performance in real time. This alone makes the game a lot more fun in my opinion, because you sure don't get this when playing the board game. This one is co-developed by Chrome Studios instead of The Whole Experience, although, aside from the upgrade in presentation, you wouldn't know anything changed. Unfortunately, this means I don't have too much else to talk about. It has DLC? I'm not paying for that. You do it. You want this to be your life for a year? Be my guest. Go buy all the Xbox games. Go buy these dumb controllers. I'm not gonna stop you. Who's gonna stop you? God? God will not stop you! Next is our first multi-platform game. Scene It Bright Lights Big Screen for the Xbox 360, PS3, and Nintendo Wii. We'll be primarily looking at the Wii version for the purposes of this segment, because as I mentioned, I didn't feel the need to purchase a PlayStation 3 to play Scene It Bright Lights Big Screen. Eagle-eyed viewers will notice that I used a PS3 as a DVD player earlier in this video. I've been working on it for so long that I've bought a PS3 for entirely unrelated reasons, even though in the script that I recorded, I mentioned that I don't. Unfortunately, they did not add a motion control minigame where you fold the board in half. Again, we've got a new co-developer, Artificial Mind and Movement, and because it's no longer an exclusive, Microsoft didn't want to publish this one. Hello, Warner Brothers. This game takes place on Planet Scene It, population, movies, where I guess the events of every movie happen in real time. Certainly don't want to see the Requiem for a Dream continent. The game is hosted by the director, not to be confused with the producer from the other one. Unlike the previous games on the 360, this one uses pre-made characters fulfilling various archetypes and oh no. I checked footage of the PS3 version of this game and it appears to just use higher fidelity versions of the same models. Like they just flipped the RTX switch on, like they hired this man. These character designs are actually not bad. I kind of like them. It gives this particular iteration some of its own charm, even if it is a 2007 party game found in a bargain bin kind of charm. The sci-fi cadet is my queen, so I'm picking her.
Slay queen.
We can turn off the host. Can't imagine why we would, though.
Round 1. We fade in. A handsome host stands at the ready. Close up on suit. It's Italian.
This is definitely better than the first Scene It game, but it's far from perfect. For one thing, the characters talk, and it's annoying. Oh, don't cry, Queen. Here, it's okay. It's okay, your e-boy is here. Also, seriously, why is this text so small? We played this on a pretty decent-sized CRT, as a Wii owner circa 2009 may have. We had to strain our eyes to make out much of anything. It's less of an issue on its HD counterparts, but this is Scene It, a party game for the whole family. There's a high likelihood it's being played on the Wii. There's also no option to alter the timer. For some types of questions, you need to buzz in, and the window you have to answer is oddly small, locking you out quickly. But hey, if you're alone and you want to test the limits of your gamer film knowledge, you can play fast fire mode. In this mode, you get 5 minutes on the in-game timer to answer as many questions as you can. You get more points for answering faster, but if you get a wrong answer, it'll dock your time. This is basically a score attack mode, and I can imagine someone getting really into it. You can't input your initials though, so it's not great for competing with the family. There was even one Scene It game for the DS, Twilight Scene It, which was also on the Wii, iPhone, and Windows. I looked up some footage of the Wii game, and it looks very similar to the DS version, and less like the other console Scene It, although it does adopt the same round-based structure. The Wii version also has our good buddy Carlisle, helpfully introducing himself, which he does not do in Twilight Saga Scene It, exclusive to Cole stores.
I'm Dr. Cullen. You can call me Carlisle.
This iteration of our favorite movie trivia game is controlled entirely with the touchscreen. You get to pick your character from a selection of who I assume are beloved Twilight characters. You have to manually hit the backspace if you want to change your selection, so just keep that in mind. The core gameplay here is structured much like the console games, with 3 rounds and a variety of question types. There's clips from the movie, there's trivia card questions, there's even questions. Oh, it was in quotation marks. I thought that was like a asterisk. Never mind. There's even clean the crust off of a picture with the touchscreen so that you can answer a question about a child's drawing questions. I'm kind of unclear why you would ever play this by yourself. I assumed it was sort of a score attack thing where you try to hone your knowledge of Twilight, but the game doesn't appear to keep track of high scores. You can, however, play this with your Twilight-loving friends if you've still got some of that cocktail and some time to kill by using good old DS download. Wait, what? There's no download play? You have to physically pass the DS back and forth and not cheat off your friends' answers because they just give you the same questions? This sucks. At least you can mercifully change the amount of rounds you'd like to play, although you can make that number higher if you truly hate yourself. You can also turn off the Twi-Lightning rounds, which are maintained from the DVD board game version. In the DS version, however, these dock your points if you get a wrong answer. You can only play up to 4 players, which is deeply unfortunate. I would love to sit in someone's living room with 12 other people, passing around a fat Nintendo DS so we can all take turns answering the same trivia question for 20 full minutes. I imagine this is a bit more functional if you're playing on the Wii or PC and you like Twilight, but personally, we had a pretty bad experience with this particular version. Scene It may be a versatile game, but it was simply not intended for the Nintendo DS. Thanks, Konami. At least we have some bonus material, which consists of headshots, posters, and still frames from the movie, so if you want to look at PNG images of the Twilight cast on your family car ride, Twilight Scene It has Got you covered. There were also a number of mobile Scene It games, as we can see from this archived webpage of namcogames.com, depicting a mobile iteration of TV Scene It. These are definitely a bit beyond the scope of this video, though, if you can believe it, especially seeing as they all seem to be lost media. I have patience, but I don't have that much patience. Guys, please don't comment. Please don't ask me to do this. I'm not gonna do it. Also beyond the scope of this video are the web-based games like Scene It Daily on Facebook. Also lost media, regrettably. If you're interested in spending your finite time on this earth delving down that particular rabbit hole, I'm gonna leave that one to you. At the New York International Toy Fair 2012, Screen Life introduced 2 new Scene Its for release that year, those being Star Wars Scene It and Movie Night Scene It. I suppose the latter probably would have been like the original Scene It, but a little more modernized. Interestingly, these versions were to give players the options to use either the DVD or to stream the video component of the game via your laptop, phone, or other devices. Unfortunately, these 2 Scene Its would never come to pass because Paramount shut down Screen Life Entertainment the very same year. I guess we'll never be able to see what Scene It would have looked like with streaming technology. Overall, despite its hiccups, the Scene It franchise honestly holds up a lot better than I'd anticipated. It's a relic of the 2000s for sure, but one that I enjoyed revisiting. I'm Jonii, and wait, hold on, what's this?
They made another one!
Yeah, so I guess someone at Paramount was combing through their list of intellectual properties one day and thought, hey, do you know what we need to bring back in the year of our Lord, 2022? Scene It, I guess, I don't know. But this begs the question, how do you make a DVD board game in the year 2020? You don't. They didn't even try. Oh, what's this quirky little activation code? Oh, I can use it in my browser of choice or the Scene It app? This is taking up space on my phone now? Scene It is occupying spaces of my life that it has no business occupying. I had to delete some photos for this. Let's boot up the game and give it a minute. It'll be good to go soon, I'm sure. You guys see any good movies lately? Maybe read any good book? Oh, it's done. I guess we can play.
Movie Scene It.
Whoa. So, Movie Scene It 2022 is hosted by the famed voice of Social Smurf from The Smurfs 2, Mario Lopez. I'm not gonna lie, I had to look this guy up. It seems like he's most well known as Slater in Saved by the Bell, and then the rest of his career has been him going, hey, remember me? I was in Saved by the Bell. A perfect candidate to host Movie Scene It 2022. So now that we've got the app wait, why can't I get it on my Fire Stick? Huh, I guess you can't cast the app to your TV. Looks like a lot of other people have this issue too, so I guess it's not just me. I guess we're playing on the phone. Gather around, everyone. Scene It! Okay. The physical component of the original Scene It is faithfully adapted here, even bringing back the iconic FlexTime game board. Looks pretty good, too. The cheapness of later Scene Its is nowhere to be found here. The buzz cards are back to being circular, and the pieces are back to being high-quality metal, recreating the OG Scene It tokens. The actual, I guess I can't call it the DVD component anymore, the video component? Does that mean the person with the remote is the stream master?
The Gamestar host is responsible for operating the on-screen game menu for the duration of the game.
I hate this already. Bottom line, the video component has undergone some noticeable changes, in my opinion, for the worse. First off, we have the presentation. Holy, oh my god, get down! This game has this weird air about it, like it's trying to tell you, listen up, dork. This ain't your dad's Scene It. This is a modern cinematic masterpiece, hosted by Mario Lopez and exclusive to Target stores. You better treat it with respect, loser. Here's another explosion, loser!
Boom. You've got a small dick, and I've got a big one. This is Scene It.
This is Scene It with a spray-on tan holding a minigun.
Oh my god, who touched Scene It? Alright. Who touched my...
I can just imagine the college students who did the video and sound for this purchasing stock VFX packs and garbage sound filters to make their vision come to life. It's genuinely awful. Listen to every line of dialogue that Mr. Lopez utters and tell me that you think this level of vocal processing is okay.
How did you go? Did you get the answer right?
The pacing of the game also feels off. This is a weird complaint for the DVD board game franchise Scene It, but let's compare what happens when you get a My Play in the original Scene It versus movie Scene It. 2022.
My Play. Watch the clip closely and answer the following question.
Which nation declared war on the others in The Last Airbender? Air, fire, water, or earth?
Did you notice how long it took for the clip to play and how short the clip itself actually was? This is assuming you're connecting to the Gamestar Plus servers on a good day, because both the browser and the app have pretty severe loading issues. Even assuming the stars align perfectly during a lunar eclipse and you have a perfect connection, you're still spending substantially more time watching these dumb little animations than actually watching clips from movies, which is the entire goddamn point of Scene It. Let's get to those performance issues. If movie Scene It 2022 is not already firmly implanted in your browser's cookies, the initial load time can be pretty rough. It seems like it gets better after you load all the assets for the first time though. The biggest issue, however, is the buffering. This game runs like a YouTube video on a 1-bar connection. It will buffer at completely random intervals, including the timer. It varies how bad this is. It may have something to do with connection strength, but if you play a full game, it will always happen. It can be really funny sometimes, but it can also be really annoying all the time. Why did they do this? Why did they create this? I bought this half off for $10 and I still feel cheated, hoodwinked, betrayed.
I was gonna get a visual of this game on the Target website and its usual price point of $20 when I was editing this, and then I discovered that it's not even available for purchase on the Target website anymore. This reboot, in the time we've been working on this video, went from new to not even being available anymore. It's out of production. I can't do this anymore. It's 9 a.m. I'm going back to bed.
The Scene It name is a hallmark of quality, usually. Screen Life doesn't even exist anymore. My man Dave Long moved on to greener pastures. Who is responsible for tarnishing the Scene It legacy? Gamestar. Gamestar. Gamestar! Gamestar Plus was founded in 2019 by Shane Yeend, who also founded Imagination Entertainment, the company responsible for such board games as Battle of the Sexes and Fact or Crap. Real excellent track record, full of timeless classics that will stand alongside the greats until the end of time. Now, it's obvious from playing movie Scene It 2022 and taking a cursory glance at their website that Gamestar Plus specializes in these weird digital physical hybrid board games. They also do Family Feud, I guess. Cool. But upon doing some further research, the Gamestar rabbit hole swallowed me, engulfed my life, and I'm going to make it your problem. After a few Google searches, we came across an intriguing portion of their website. Whoa, Steve, back up a little bit. We're not talking about you yet. This portion of the website contains a link to the company's light paper. Basically, a light paper is a company's elevator pitch, a real quick way to introduce them to you, the investor. And whoo boy, here we go. Did you have fun reliving your early 2000s Scene It nostalgia? Good. I'm glad. That part of the video is over now. Come with me on a journey. We're gonna try to unpack some of what's in here, and I'm going to reserve judgment until I'm done explaining this. In fact, I'm going to pitch this to you, using talking points from the light paper. Hey everyone, did you have a good morning? There's complimentary coffee outside the office if you're interested. Take some. You can go for a cup. It's 6 a.m. Excellent. Thank you. Please take a seat anywhere you want. 80% of American households have board games in them. I mean, just look at these graphs.
We love games.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a rise in in-home entertainment, including and especially board games, because You know. That's why Gamestar Plus is here to help. Board games have remained mostly unchanged since the dawn of time. They're old and icky.
Look at how dusty this one is. You know.
It kinda got better when you added the DVD. Now I don't have time to look away from the TV for more than a minute at a time, but no one owns DVD players anymore. They own phones, and they like to watch Netflix and listen to Spotify on their phones. What if we had board game Netflix on our phone? Just let's come down.
No, we have to come back up.
And then we're gonna come back up. We're gonna build ourselves up though. For a small monthly fee, you can subscribe to the Gamestar Plus platform and stream board games to your heart's content. I mean, look at these IPs. It has all your favorite things.
Hypothetically.
Oh, I know that one. Using Gamestar's innovative platform, you can stream these games on your phone or your TV or your computer or your Wii U. I guess you can even play them on airplanes. I wasn't the one to add that to the pitch document, but really anything's possible. What? What do you mean you're not convinced? Just look at who we got backing us. We got that guy from Shark Tank and Ken, the Jeopardy goat, and Oh! We got Steve! You know Steve! Look at how big we put him on the website! This man is gonna bring your family together. He's on the TV!
All of my friends are men. I don't have female friends. I don't. I'm incapable of that.
Much like the hit video game, Fortnite, users of our platform will be able to use in-game currency to purchase skins and other items. Users can either purchase this currency using actual money or earn it through playing Plinko or whatever. You can even get a battle pass. This document was 10 pages when I last saw it, and now it's 30. I don't know what's going on anymore. Unlike other services, you'll be able to easily trade, transfer, and sell your in-game items because they're non-fungible token. Oh, and there's a separate currency called G-Star that's sort of like a stock where it gives you sway in the decision-making process, and I guess it's a cryptocurrency. And what's this? Imagine playing Family Feud while your family displays Avengers skins and Thanos is asking questions to decide the fate of the universe.
Naked Grandma!
Okay, there's the basic idea. Now, let's take a step back and explain what's wrong with all of this. First of all, the idea that board games need revolutionizing. No, they don't. You know how it said there was a big spike in people playing board games during the pandemic? That's because they're nice and easy to play with literally whoever. Your ancient, decrepit grandmother could set up Monopoly, and so too could a 12-year-old who watches TikTok compilations for fun. You don't need to make an account, you don't need to scan a QR code, you just set up the board, pick a funny piece, read the enclosed instruction book, and you're cruising. Even Scene It, a board game specifically designed to be a hybrid, is simple. You set up the board as you would with any other game, and then you slap a disc in a DVD player and select menu items that easily correspond to the board game. Even if your family is old and dumb, someone in the house will know how to use the damn remote. The worst thing that could possibly happen with the multimedia component is that your disc could get scratched or you could lose the remote. Those are your biggest problems. Comparatively, I could barely get Movie Scene It 2022 to work right my first time, and subsequent playthroughs are usually plagued with lag, even when my connection is immaculate. Gamestar Plus is actually making board games harder and less accessible. The hybrid approach here really seems to be shooting them in the foot, because I actually think an all-digital approach for this wouldn't have been a bad idea. Board game video games have existed for probably as long as regular video games. They already made Scene It video games. Just make another one of those. Think about Monopoly on the Switch, or even on the Super Nintendo. Would either of those experiences be enhanced by adding a physical board and pieces to the equation? Would that feel better to you? I'm an annoying prick who collects pointless physical media for fun, and I think that would suck. You can just use a controller. That's easier to understand. Maybe a Monopoly app for the TV could be okay. You don't have to go through the trouble of setting a whole board up or worry about losing cards or pieces, and mom can just use the controller that she uses for everything. That's fairly easy to understand, and it would certainly make the whole subscription service angle make more sense. How exactly are you supposed to play things on a subscription service that require a physical component? A lot of the games that they've planned for the future are game shows, which could very easily do what I've just suggested and be all digital. But board games require a board. It's in the name. They want to have their cake and eat it too. Despite their website only listing Scene It and Family Feud, a number of their other games seem to be available on Amazon or on various official game show websites. These all seem to have a pretty significant physical component, with the Gamestar Plus app only serving as a buzzer or a timer, meaning that streaming these iterations of the game seems to be pretty difficult, if not impossible. impossible.
I guess they could mean streaming service in the sense that you do stream part of the games, but with the physical components costing $15 to $20, that's a lot of money you're gonna be packing away to play Press Your Luck. That's not what Netflix is. Try again.
It's hard to say for sure what they plan to do with the streaming service because it does not exist yet. It is a concept, an idea.
None of this makes any sense!
Let's talk about the crypto. You love crypto. I love crypto. I want to hurdle myself into moving traffic. You want to hurdle yourself into moving traffic. If you weren't already convinced by their immaculate pitch for an unnecessary service that doesn't work, that's when they pull out the big guns. Now listen, you know me. I don't know nothing about crypto. I spend all my spare time making videos about Monkey Ball. I don't know anything about how to keep your tokens from being funged, and I don't know why the old Doge meme is money now, and I don't want to. But I'm exercising my very limited knowledge of the crypto space to attempt to explain this to you and to tell you why it's dumb and stupid. This makes me mad just looking at it. So, to my understanding, their in-game currency, G-Bucks, is not the same thing as their cryptocurrency. G-Bucks are used to buy silly skins for Steve Harvey, while G-Star is used essentially as stock. So if you want them to put Sonic shoes in Family Feud, you will have sway with the company to help make that vision a reality. I don't know why they can't just have normal stocks, but sure, cool, whatever. Let's talk about NFTs. I felt dirty saying that. Gamestar Plus has a dual NFT system, meaning there are two types of these stupid things. There are core NFTs, which are limited and geared towards users who are already crypto fiends. These are used for things like unique profile pictures and staking, which is a process wherein my eyes glaze over and I start to do something else. Platform NFTs are unlimited and are geared towards casual players who just want to play some Family Feud. Think of these as your Fortnite or TF2 items. You can get them in mystery boxes, or through achievements, or through the in-game currency, G-Bucks, which is not to be confused with the cryptocurrency G-Star, or STG-TAR, which is staked G-Star tokens to— You know what? Never mind. These platform NFTs are used for things like skins or consumables for crafting. These are game shows. Why would you ever need to craft anything? You're playing fucking Family Feud Bachelorette Edition and Steve Harvey approaches you as you're crafting a diamond sword under your podium. Because, as we all know, if you kill Steve, you become Steve. Unrelated point, one of the examples of a platform NFT is Harvey's mustache, which I'm sure you acquire through this murder side quest I've just described. Alright, I think we've successfully unpacked all of the crypto terminology. You guys want to play Scene It in the metaverse with me? You can actually feel the heat of the stock explosion footage as the last of Earth's rainforests burn down. It's so realistic. So the white paper has a whole page about the metaverse and how, whoa dude, we're gonna add VR compatibility and augmented reality overlays and stuff, which is a really bold claim for a service where the only digital component of half the games are buzzers and timers. Why would you even want this? Do you really want Mario Lopez's disembodied voice to haunt you as you hysterically search your mind library for the answer to a vague trivia question about School of Rock? Is this what the future is? I guess you can pretend to interact with pre-recorded footage of Steve Harvey if you really want to, but I think I'm okay. Again, all of this is theoretical because the streaming service and the cryptocurrency of the game company whose entire identity is that they're crypto streaming gamer guys have not launched yet, so what we're left with is a handful of broken mobile apps, a scarcely updated website, Steve Harvey PNGs as far as the eye can see, and a busted, poorly thought out version of Scene It that was forgotten before it even hit the shelves. Dave Long left Screen Life in 2007, just before Paramount purchased the company the following year. Afterwards, he founded a new company called Exponential Entertainment. They make games for phones and cable boxes, which I assume do not involve cryptocurrency. Hopefully. Screen Life eventually shut its doors in 2012, and although Scene It is technically operating as a zombie franchise right now, it's never been the same since. Going into this video, it was easy to consider Scene It a stupid little relic of the past. And in many ways, it is. games. Do you still own a DVD player? Of course you do. You watch my channel. But does your family? Does your uncle? While Scene It is undeniably tied to the time period in which it was created, it was surprisingly fun to play it through my modern eyes. At the end of the day, it does what every good board game should, which is crafting a fun experience to share with your friends and family. The different variations just mean you can play it with basically anyone and have a good time. It's a board game for everyone. I personally recommend Music Scene It. Me and the boys had fun with that one. So hey, next time you see an old, unloved Scene It in the wild, pick it up. You just might have a good time with it. I'm Jonii, and I've got to take a trip to the Goodwill to drop a couple things off. Peace.